Hi, I'm Mirsan Amir is here with another episode of Dark Theory USA. We're going to talk about the third Trump assassination attempt and everything happened around it. And of course, I'm going to give my takeaway and see where we're going to go from here. So, a couple of things that I'm going to mention. First is like I'm not reading the news. Like you can read the news everywhere from the left, right, independent, all of them. So my job is not to read the news, but to give my take about that. So when I am, so I'm assuming like we know all the story, so we just jump right into it. I mean, of course, I give the brief story about what happened to make sure that we are on the same page. But to just come and read the news like it's not like a news media or something, it's just about like analyzing the news, the events. So instead of just going into detail who he was 31 years old, and then he was a self-employed and a game developer, also part-time teacher, and then he sent a manifesto. Like there are a couple of information that they all seem relevant. Yeah, of course, true, but I don't see it like it's very helpful to the takeaway that I have to the analysis that I'm gonna have. So for that reason, I ignore. So if I don't mention it, doesn't mean like necessarily I don't know what happened, like I'm ignorant or didn't read the news. But just in that segment that I'm gonna talk about, that news was irrelevant. If I thought that was irrelevant, of course I would have mentioned that. So I'm not gonna read entirely exactly at 8:30 p.m. what happened, where was Pete Hegseth, where was Cash Patel, where was like Stephen Miller. For example, like I saw that in the Young Talks, they were talking about that. Whoa, it is so weird that first they got JD Vance out of the site to protect him, and then that was a Trump. What was that? It is irrelevant to what I'm about to say. So that was the third assassination attempt. One guy went through the hotel. He wanted to run like a roadrunner, go so fast and pass through all of them, and eventually kill our president Trump. And he failed. Everything is shady over there. I'm gonna say why I think it might not be as organic as they try to sell it to us, and some part of it may seem organic. I mean, still, I am more leaning toward like it was a setup, but I don't have any evidence for that. I'm just saying this is stuff that you are showing to me. It's so odd. There is no way that it happened. And then I will talk about the other aspect that why it might be actually organic, why like that was no conspiracy behind it. So things that were odd. Again, I'm not talking about why you took JD Vance first and then Trump. Where was like a Stephen Miller? And I'm not talking about any of them. Or why the journalists started. Some of the journalists, as soon as everyone went under the table to like be safe, some of them immediately they took their phone away and started to record. I mean, they're journalists. Like it is in their blood. They want to be the first one who record the news, right? So instinctively they would do that. So it's not like it was set up, everyone was paid for. Like no, I don't think so. But those areas that were very interesting to me or very odd. One of them was, look, he came. Trump. I'm talking about the Trump. He came and he said, immediately he said, oh, we need a ballroom. We call it ballroom. But it was like, that it has nothing to do with the ballroom. Like already there were 7 layers of protection, and all of them the this guy could go there. Even in his manifesto, how much of it is organic or not, he was writing. Like he said when he was trying to scoping to see what's going on, he was writing down when he saw the guards. They were so incompetent and so easily you can pass by them and with a gun and nobody could say anything to you. So even having ballroom won't fix it if 7 layers of protection are not competent enough to stop that person that could think like it is like a football competition, like American football, that you hold the American ball in on your side and hold it and then keep running and then pass through all those defenders to pass the line and get the point. This is basically American football is. Like the backcourt, like throw you the ball, you hold it and you just keep running all the way to the end of the field. This is what he was trying to do, and you really thought that was enclosed area, and that was very, when it is enclosed, so of course like the corridors, hallway, all of them, they're going to be narrow, so the chance that you could fall on the ground or somebody stop you is way more than that, like somewhere which is open field, which is wider, and you go there and you try go through all of them to get to the, I mean, even in the video games it is impossible. Even in video games sometimes you have to assassinate the final boss. You're going to do that. I mean, you fail, you have to come up with better strategy. You cannot go through every one of them. Some of them you have to like silently go behind them, pass through them or stuff. So even if you have ballroom, instead of 7 layer of protection, let's say you're gonna have 8 layer of protection. If those 7 fail, 8th one gonna fail as well. Just like a Iron Dome for the Israel. Like they were saying, like, oh, our problem is if we had that defense from, I don't know, like defense contract we had, let's say, with France. I said, bro, you already have 7 layers of defense from Arab countries, British, US, and then yourself, all of them. The rocket is going through all of them are failing to intercept them. And now you think only if you had one more anti-missile system, that one would work. That's a magic word. No, it's not. Like the eighth, like they say the third is charmed, the eighth is charmed. That's not the case. So for that reason, I think that was very stupid to him to say that, unless he had already different agenda that he had to use anything that happens to use as a leverage to convince that we had to do it. But I don't buy that, because the ballroom wasn't even that big. Like even those people who were saying, "Oh, you are making it look ugly. White House always look like that. You are changing." It wasn't like end of the world. There are stuff like Trump does that, leftists lose their mind. There are stuff that Trump does that, MAGA lose their mind. But the ballroom wasn't none of them. They call it ballroom, but let's call it ballroom, as it seems like it was none of them. People say, okay, fine. And then he's asking $200 billion for extra funding the war with Iran that nobody asked for. But now he's worried about that. Oh, we don't want to use people's tax money to fund the ballroom. For that reason, we're gonna ask private companies to fund it. So private companies, individuals, they're gonna have ownership of our White House. Like you're worried about the breach into your security system, that somebody could come all the way through to assassinate Trump inside the White House. But now you are not worried about the security system. You give part of the government official to the individual. Like let's say that private guy, like that guy who owns that company, he gets hacked by the foreign entity. Now everything that he knows about the ballroom, the other country is going to know that. So actually it's going to be more vulnerable. So it's going to be like you are basically, it's going to be public asset at some point if people could have access to that guy who was owner of that. So now you are using, like bringing private ownership and investment for the least, listen to me, least, like the amount of money that Trump is wasting every day for the unjustifiable war with Iran that nobody asked for, none of these voters asked for, is 20 times more than the money that he's gonna spend on the ballroom. But he's worried about the tax money shouldn't pay for the ballroom if it is so necessary, but he's not worried about taxpayers that they are funding for that stupid war. So that doesn't make sense. So you see, everything Trump is doing is stupid. Every time that I think Trump cannot do something more stupid, he surprised me with one more stupid thing than previous one. Like how? Like, can you just shut up? Like this is the suggestion I was giving to Biden. If you just shut up and don't talk, I mean, most of the time he was sleeping or taking a nap or going to vacation or falling from the stairs. But even sometimes when he was talking, he was saying bullshit. I said, just don't talk. Just don't talk. Just, it's better to not talk than talk and embarrass ourselves. Now I'm giving the same prescription to Trump. Just don't talk, Trump. Just don't. Like we were asking, you are like we are paying so much more gas price, grocery, everything is getting more expensive because of that. Where you couldn't care less and even ask for the Congress to pass a bill for the more $200 billion, and now you're worried about a couple of $1 million for the ballroom. No. People shouldn't pay for that. No tax money. Let's individual do that. It just doesn't make sense. And then the another thing that made it crazy to me, like how special the ballroom is for him, it's day or days after Charlie Kirk was dead, the people were like journalists was asking Trump, how do you feel about, like, are you feeling okay because you were so close to Charlie Kirk after his assassination? Immediately, go watch it. Go watch it on YouTube. He said, no, I'm feeling so fine. Look at my ballroom. Look at how good it is, how beautiful it looks. They're under construction work. Like even the journalist was shocked. Like I asked about Charlie Kirk dead a few days ago or just 24 hours ago died, and your response was, look at my ballroom. This is your, like, if that was something that truly you would care, you would even bring up that conversation even if you were not asked. But now you are even asked, so it is best time to express yourself, like how close he was to you, how loyal he was to you. You didn't even bring the name Charlie Kirk in your sentence. You said, I am feeling good, look at my ballroom. Even it wasn't like, oh, it was tragic what happened to him, but still I'm keeping my spirit up, I have to keep going for Charlie, for example, something like that. None of them. I'm feeling good, look at my bottle. That happened day after he was assassinated. Or what is so special about that? Like Charlie got assassinated, somebody who was so close to you, and this was the response to it, for one. And for two, you got assassinated for the third time, and now you're saying, oh, you see, we need a bottle. So maybe there is a bigger agenda behind that. Maybe there's a bigger project, because they are saying, the rumor is that under the ballroom they're going to make a bunker. So are they gonna set up a bombing to the White House, and they are already safe in the bunker, and say, you see, we are attacked, so now like they realize that those level of, not like 9/11 doesn't work anymore, so we need something bigger, something more convincing, something more intense. So maybe White House should be bombed. So we have to have the bunker to set up everything. I don't know. I do know that the 9/11, like so many people inside our country, they had information into detail. Think about that. How is it possible? Alex Jones, 6 months before, he exactly into detail said that Taliban, Al Qaeda, gonna attack the two Twin Towers. If right now I say that something gonna happen tomorrow, before the stream is done, FBI gonna be behind my door and say, hey, what do you know that you haven't told us? And this guy, for 6 months, he was saying on his channel, and he was very famous at that time. Nobody even bothered to ask him, hey, how do you know that? How are you so sure? He predicted in detail. Anyway, so in the end, I'm trying to say, like, why do you need that bunker? It is so necessary. Like, if somebody can attack the White House, it's over. We are already under attack by it's end of it. Like, what can get worse? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what his obsession with that. But plus, now this is the part that it made me a little start to find it very sus. It sounded sus to me. So in that guy manifesto, first of all, he didn't like Hassan Parker because he was extremely leftist stuff, so he wasn't leftist. That's good. Listen, for the Tyler Robinson about the Charlie Kirk, so like, oh, let's blame on the leftists because leftists love violence and leftists they are pro transgenderism and fairy stuff, like because he had a fairy boyfriend and he's transgender, something like that. So he was saying like, oh, they are leftists. Fine. Now here's the crazy part. So at that time it was like leftists. Now leftists are off the table, and everyone say, hey, why do you keep saying leftists? We MAGA. We are saying, why are you saying leftists? I'm not MAGA anymore, but I used to be. We're saying like, we have the Supreme Court, we have Congress, we have Senate, we have White House, and also we had the popular vote. We have everything. There is nothing we want to do that leftists could stop us. Every law that we pass, if we are united under the Trump, let's say, it should be passed. So the only reason that everything is screwed because Trump has betrayed us, nothing else. Because if Trump wanted to pass any law he wanted with the level of loyalty that Republican Party has to have, it would be done. There would be no stoppage or blockade from him doing the executive order to passing to the law. Yeah, of course, he couldn't change the amendment because you need 2/3 of the votes from the Senate. It wouldn't happen, but you could change so much. Like everything that is wrong that you think if Trump promised us, it's his fault. Because he had all the votes, he had popular support, people support, he had Congress, he had Senate, he had Supreme Court, yeah, everything. So only he didn't care about those promises, those campaign promises. So now, going back. At that time, people were saying like, why do you keep saying leftists? Everything is on control. We haven't done anything. Now the third assassination for Trump. This is, oh, he's extremist right. Just look at what he said. Oh, he's a pedophile, he's a traitor. What does traitor mean? Democrats, they don't call Trump traitor. Have you noticed? Well, traitor means I trusted you and you betrayed my trust. That's called somebody who's a traitor. Somebody who does that is a traitor. But Trump is never traitor to the Democrats because they never trusted him. They never voted for him. They just called him dictator, king, this or that, evil like that. So a traitor for somebody, hey, I was your buddy, I trusted you, and you betrayed that. So it seems like a past supporter, ex-supporters. Ex-supporters would call it traitor. Hey, I was on your side, now I'm not anymore. Because I realized that I saw your true face. So traitor is a good definition. It's the indication. Hey, he was representing Trump past supporter, those people who wanted Trump to do what he promised. Then pedophile. Nobody called him pedophile for like what he said. Like we say, you are protecting those people who probably had done something wrong by not releasing all the rest of all 6 million documents unredacted, because 3 million redacted are released. Even if you want to keep it redacted, at least release the other 3 million. That. And then he was saying, oh, we don't see any other reason other than that. I was saying like, bruh, it's not, first of all, we are not pro-violence. That's for one. So he cannot represent anybody who is disappointing Trump. We are against the leftists because of the violence. And second, yeah, of course, traitor. Biden was traitor to Democrats as well. He promised so many things that he didn't do for them. So, okay, so what? So I think they immediately, they're releasing manifesto. They wanted to say, hey, remember, if somebody says, do you remember anyone who criticizes Israel, they call it anti-Semitism? So if you call Israel, you call it anti-Semitism. So you cannot criticize Israel because you will be called out as an anti-Semite. Same thing in here. You cannot ask Trump to do what he promised, because if you complain about not delivering what he promised, indirectly you are referring him to as a traitor, and this is exactly what it was in the shooter manifesto. If you want to not be mistaken with that shooter, then you shouldn't keep Trump accountable for what he promised. This is the real agenda. I think that makes it super likely. It's high likely that it was kind of like, it could be kind of set up. It could be everything about that. It sounded fake to me, because there is no, listen. I went to the DC. I went to the White House, not inside, outside. If you stand in one side, outside of the fence, wherever it is the public entry, if you stand there for a long time, the cops, the army, whoever is protecting the security, start to notice something like, hey, why are you here? You go to security, ask 2 questions. The third one, they're gonna kick you out. They say, hey, why are you here? Bro, it is super duper. Like, I saw that some other places, I think one of the channel was saying, for the rally, for the campaign rally, bro, you have to be in line for 3-4 different layers of security check and stuff to make sure whoever is coming for regular Democrat rally or Republican rally. Like, you don't know how difficult it is to take a gun with yourself for the rally. It's not even president or vice president is going there for the rally. For 2 hours, you have to be in the line to make sure everything is fine. But now you're telling me you're going inside the White House. It's not like for the first assassination attempt. That was one rally. Butler, Pennsylvania. That was open place. Like, maybe there was another way to get into without people seeing it. Okay, fine. But this one was enclosed, was inside the building. It's so easier to monitor who is coming, who is leaving, and checking people compared to open air. And all of it happened. And then still they couldn't find any reason to find his suspicious, because he was carrying actually gun with himself. And he wasn't like faking having uniform something. So for that reason, I'm saying it was too easy for somebody to come. And after 2 assassination attempts, and Trump was saying, oh, because Democrats are in power, like Biden was in office, we were asking for more protection, but we were denied. Right now, you are president. Nobody's denying you protection. Like, you are spending so much money on the ballroom, so why don't you spend more money on your security? Like, at that time, you would say, oh, we had to ask, we were rejected, we were denied. But what about right now? You are in the White House. You are the president. Who's going to reject you or deny you? Just have more protection. But after all this time, still, like, it is impossible. Like, I cannot buy that. If that was third world country, you would say, bro, they're so incompetent to fix it. But after 2-time assassination attempt, and now you are in power, now you have access to all the resources, to all the money, and it's still your security, your secret service, your protection is as incompetent as it was before. Maybe all of them are staged, or like I cannot believe that America is acting as incompetent as a third world country. I cannot. With the amount of intelligence we have, agencies we have, money we have, resources we have. You know how it is hard to have intelligence to get those intel? America has it. Like, we know everything in advance. Other countries don't have that intelligence, those intel, those agencies. They don't have it. They just have to react to what happens. They don't have force. They don't have. They cannot predict what's going to happen. FBI can. FBI already can conclude that your next step if they want to. America has all of these resources, and still for some reason somebody with a gun can just walk through them in the hotel inside the White House, in the Hotel Hilton next to the White House. Are you kidding me? Well, because the reason is because ballroom would be inside the White House, so everyone who goes there would be fully checked. This one was a Hilton hotel or something, right? But still, if I'm not mistaken, that was DC, right? But it doesn't matter. Like, White House is not magical place. It's not like guarded by fairy tales or by angels. What makes White House super safe and guarded is the security. That's it. So if you put the security in the White House inside in the Hilton hotel, the Hilton hotel would be as safe as White House. I'm saying, like, it's not a shield, it's not a curse, it's not like a spell or something that's like the angels are protecting White House. What is protecting the White House is those intels, those security guards. If you use the same intel and security guards for the Hilton hotel, it would be as safe as White House. Not only that, this is the craziest part. Every time the president wants to go somewhere, from 1 week before in advance, there would be a team to have the meeting to see all the possibility how anyone can cause threat or harm to president. So they put on those they put checkpoints over there. They put extra security surveillance camera over there to make sure. Like they go through all the possibility from here how he can be target. And this Hilton thing was for a long time, like it was already planned. And so they were a team to see like how somebody could do anything in here. And it's still none of your, like that was the most stupid, obvious thing. Somebody run toward him. But you could just run and pass through all of that would be simplest and easiest one. And you didn't have any prediction for that. And you would have, how could you be prepared for more complicated scenarios? So no, it's so crazy. The only part that looks organic to me is because Trump right now keeps firing people, and people don't know that if they want to keep the job for tomorrow or not. Like he's not a stable person, right? He keeps firing, doing that for Iran war. You saw that how many generals were fired. So you could see like there is not unity inside the White House. So they couldn't communicate with each other better. So everyone was passing to the other one. Oh, you do that, I do that, because they don't feel like loyalty that they are all on the same team. They are just on the same payroll. For that reason, it could be organic. It is so divided, and people are it's so chaos, so much chaos over there that nobody is actually doing something. They just exist or just present over there, and somebody went through that. That's the only way it could be organic. Other than that, it's so sus that in manifesto, he was representing himself as somebody just like those people who were supporting Trump, and right now they are saying Trump betrayed us, and Trump right now is attacking them. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, David Smith, all of Thomas Massie. These people, they voted for Trump. They're just saying like, oh, now he's a traitor. He betrayed us, betrayed America. And now this guy is saying same thing. So it's so convenient. And whenever one group of people are going to be targeted, there is assassination attempt. That guy was just like those people that they are supposed to be dehumanized or demonized. Right. So whenever some people are going to be demonized, you see one bad thing happen, that bad guy looks really similar to that people that they were targeted to be demonized. It's too convenient. So for that reason, I don't know what to think about that. But the timing was very hard, because there are only, I guess, 2 days is left till the war with Iran, the operation start to become a war, because you have 60 days for operation. After that, you need extension from permission from the Congress for 30 more days. But that 30 more days is only to give them plan. In 30 days, I'm going to retrieve my troops, my people. First of all, we don't have any troops on the ground. And second of all, so many of our bases are evacuated already, so it cannot be the case. But he can make the case like, hey, I still have to be there, even though it's not war, but still we're gonna call it war, etc., to keep there. But I don't think this assassination, of whether it was real or faked or staged or whatever it was, all definitely it would help at all to get vote from the Congress to continue the war with Iran, because he had to be like sent and paid by IRGC or something. Then he could make a case, hey, you see, they want to kill me, so let me continue the war with them and then stop the threat. But that wasn't the case. So I don't know, like if maybe the Republicans, they would get united to each other, and they would feel like, oh yes, we're together. Our president is under attack. We have to support him. You know, just like a 12 September, one day after 9/11, you saw that every Democrat, Republican, everyone was raising the American flag for that reason. Like maybe at least Republican, they would rise up together to get united, because it's fractured after on every turn. Trump ignored his base and team up with the neocons who were never Trumper till 5 minutes ago. For that reason, like maybe they get together, so this time when he take it to the Congress, it gets the vote. It gets the vote. That's the only reason. Oh, I made people sense of like patriotism inside the Republican Party. So for what happened to me, look, I'm victim. Like have a sympathy for me, so vote for me. Because even apparently Trump didn't have enough vote from the Republicans in order to continue the war. So maybe at least this way he could secure the war. I don't know. But it sounded very, very pointless, very, like listen, I am American. I know how competent America is. There is no way you could do that and America didn't know that. That is all I'm saying. If I thought there were like a bunch of clumsy people, I would say that. But most stupid people that in government you see, they are the people you see on the TV, on the camera. Except Thomas Massie. But majority of these Congress people, they're stupid. Yeah, I get that. But those who are running the show behind the stage, bro, those people are competent. This level of things, even in third world country cannot happen, let alone United States of America. So I don't know. We have to see what happens, because the oil price went back up exactly what it was before the ceasefire. So if the ceasefire was to bring down the prices to ease the market, again it is back up. Like, even though they are not at war, but everything is as expensive as if it was at war just right before the ceasefire. So definitely something would happen. The blockade is hurting Iran's economy. Iran can collapse. Even though they are playing tough, they can collapse. So whether they have to come to us and say, yeah, okay, listen, take the blockade away, we do this, we do that, you give it to us, done. Because Iran has no intention to do. So that blockade is hurting Iran. But on the other hand, this oil price is back up right as if we are in the middle of war. We are in the ceasefire, but everything is as expensive as it was in the middle of the war, right before the ceasefire. So we cannot keep doing this forever. And so something gonna happen. Some people, they say continuing war or something. I don't know yet if that assassination, to see if it's organic or not, could really help for the next plan they have for us. That was the pretext for it. Because all I'm seeing, all the influencers, whether they were paid for or they were just involved, they say, oh, everyone is talking about that, so let me talk about that as well. Everyone was talking about the ballroom. That's how I started this this episode with. They started to just talk about the ballroom. So this assassination attempt to just secure the ballroom, like, it wasn't the worst thing. Like, people object that, but okay, so you could have it without that either. But now you are using it as a leverage to just talk about the ballroom, or they are making it for us to get distracted to say, oh, this was for that, but then behind the scene they use that as assassination for another leverage. But we have to see. But this week going to be very important. By end of this week, I'm thinking something big going to happen in the country, hopefully for the good news, but we have to see. Thanks for watching. As always, as above, so below.